Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What exam you had today? Domain test.
Sir?
You had some exam today, no?
No, sir, we had it yesterday as a domain.
Which subject?
Subjects are liner logistics, PTL, and
Two subjects you had.
yes, sir.
Oh,
Good evening, sir. Sir, is there any information about the SEM examination, sir?
examinations.
Yeah, yes, sir. Like timetable or when it will be started.
You got the date, no? 18th.
Yeah, before they told 18, sir, but till now we didn't get any timetable. No, I thought they were changing something.
I think it is 18th only. We are also yet to get the timetable.
Okay. Like
So,
last working day will be on.
12th.
Okay, sir.
12th. Okay, good evening. Last class we were discussing about sales for sales tools for sales promotion. So these are some of the tools which we were discussing. So about coupons, all of you know what are coupons. Coupon is a kind of document which entitles the customer certain price of, say for example, you buy some products. Nowadays, you can see you get lot of coupons online also. If you want to book a ticket on Book My Show, so you can search for some kind of coupons, and once you enter this coupon code, you are entitled to certain price off. Sometimes when you buy, particularly in fashion kind of retailing, if you buy clothes worth 5,000, you are given 1,000 rupees worth coupons. So these coupons can be reimbursed on your next shopping, or certain retail outlets will be allowing them immediately on next purchase. It can be on the same day also. Next is rebate. Rebate is a kind of cash refund given to the customer on purchase of a product during certain time frame. So it's a kind of price off given to customers. So premium, all of you know, premium is nothing but some kind of extra item offered to the consumer, usually in exchange for some proof of purchase of promoted products. So sometimes you buy a particular product, some kind of extra item is given along with the main product. Many a times you might have seen consumer electronics, you find a lot of premiums given to customers if you buy 65 inches smart TV, some kind of what is that? Some kind of audio system is given free. So some kind of speaker in the form of different, say you will be getting some kind of home theater. What is that called? You see one kind of speaker, no, which is bar kind of thing. What is that called?
Sir?
You will be getting one speaker, no, straight bar kind of
Bar, sound bar, speaker bar.
sound. So when you buy smart TV, sometimes you can see along with TV, you are given this sound bar kind of product as premium.
Yeah.
Similarly, loyalty marketing program. So many a times you can see loyalty programs are built in terms of retaining customers. So whenever loyalty marketing program is designed, it's a kind of promotional program. So it is to build loyalty among customers. So whenever a loyalty marketing program is designed, it is a mutual benefit both for the customer and the company. It's a win-win situation both for the customer and the company which is trying to sell the product. Next is frequent buyer program. Who are called as frequent buyers? Again, those who procure products on a continuous basis. So you can see they are also called as frequent buyers, frequent purchasers. So it's a kind of loyalty program targeted only on these set of customers. So who makes multiple purchases of a particular product or service. So these are called as frequent buyers. This is also called as frequent purchasers program, like that. So next is contests. So all of you know what are contests. You will be seeing a lot of sales contests being organized. It's a kind of promotion. So wherein you will be seeing participants are required to exhibit some kind of skill or ability to compete for prizes. So sometimes you will be seeing a contest like slogan writing contest. So you write slogan or caption for a particular company's product which they'll be using in future. So here you have to exhibit your skill and ability to write this caption or slogan for a particular brand or a particular company. Sweepstakes is it's a kind of promotion that depends on chance with free participation. So sometimes you can see companies organizing say a particular kind of game wherein if you win you will be getting some kind of prizes. Next is sampling. All of you know what is sampling. It's a kind of consumer promotion. So why sampling is given to a particular customer? It is for the customer to try out. So when you distribute samples among 1,000 customers, say for example, you are trying to add new variant in Glow and Lovely product of Unilever. So again, you may advertise. Along with that, you might have seen along with some kind of magazines, a small pouch is attached to that particular magazine. So they are trying to distribute this sample through these magazines, or sometimes you can see samples are distributed near shopping malls, or sometimes samples are distributed door to door. So when you distribute these samples to 1,000 people, there are high chances of some once they try out this product, if they are satisfied, they try to procure these products from the nearest outlet. So sampling is a kind of opportunity given to the customer to try out a particular product or service. So these are some of the methods through which samples are distributed or sampling is done. One is directly it is sent to customer's address through mail or door delivery, packaging with another product. Like I said, a face cream pouch packed with Filmfare magazine, or retail store demonstration. So sometimes you can see many a times you might have seen coffee or tea powder or some kind of new variant in noodles or some kind of snack foods. You will be seeing a lot of demonstration happening between near retail stores. So they will allow you to taste the product. Sometimes you are given a small cup of coffee to taste a new variant of coffee powder or tea powder launched. So these are all the opportunities to distribute samples, direct mail, door-to-door delivery. So trying to package with other products. Sometimes you can see when you buy a particular, say, toothpaste, if there is another new variant which is likely to be launched shortly, you will be given along with that. So sometimes you can see a Parachute coconut oil if you buy. If there is another new variant of coconut oil which is likely to be launched by Marico Industries, so that small pouch is stick to the main Parachute bottle. So once you buy this bottle, you will try out this sample given to the customer. So next is point of purchase promotion. Many a times you can see POP is point of purchase promotion. Within retail outlet, you will be seeing lot of areas where products are displayed for the customers to buy. So here point of purchase promotion. So here within retail outlet, you will be getting audience. So here point of purchase promotion, wherever products are displayed, high prominent locations within the retail outlet. So like I have already told you, within every rack, you have a small rack within the retail outlet. So it looks like in the shape of T. One line is lengthier and the top portion is shorter rack. So once you enter into any retail outlet, you will be seeing shorter rack facing you. So these racks are used by some reputed companies as point of purchase displays. So they'll be using this for point of purchase promotion. You will be seeing display of newly launched products. These T, the top line of T is called as the end cap. So you will be seeing at the end of the rack. That's why they are called as end caps. Here, why these end caps are used as point of purchase promotion is they are highly visible to the customer once they enter into the outlet. So point of purchase promotion can increase sales by as much as 65%. So many a times if you mix up promotional products with other products, you may not be able to get the sale. So that's why you have to elevate these products in the form of island kind of displays or end cap promotion or displaying near cash tills in a big way. So these are called as point of purchase promotions. So all of you know what are online sales promotions. So today, whatever sales promotions which we see, though you use all kinds of advertisement, along with that online sales promotion is very important. So effective types of online sales promotions include free merchandise. How you get free merchandise upon filling up the required retails. So you'll be seeing a lot of sales promotions within online platforms. So sometimes you'll be seeing banner ads, uh, uh, banner ads or flip kind of ads. So even if you open any website, you will be seeing some kind of pop-up advertisements. So once you click on that, it will be taking it to the required company's website. Sweepstakes, all of you know what are sweepstakes. It's a kind of where you are allowed to exhibit your ability or knowledge. So once you play some kind of games, you are entitled for certain kind of price. Free shipping with purchases, it's a kind of online sales promotion. So coupons are also, you will be seeing a lot of coupons on online platforms. Sometimes you will be getting coupons emailed to your email account. You can use these coupons for making purchases. So there are multiple online sales promotions done if you are a credit card holder. So you will be getting a lot of coupons along with your credit card bill. So you may be getting coupons to be reimbursed for a salon, or you may be getting a coupon to be reimbursed in Myntra.com, or to purchase some kind of clothes on Shopperstop. So it is purely based on the tie-ups which a particular credit card company has. So again, here credit card company along with banks. So there are other joint partners like Visa, Mastro, American Express, so RuPay. So these people will be having certain kind of tie-ups with certain corporates. So similarly, you might have seen a lot of co-branded promotions happening. So these are called as co-branded cards. Say, for example, HDFC Bank tying up with Big Bazaar. So you'll be seeing a logo of Big Bazaar on HDFC credit card, or ICICI Bank credit card tying up with HPCL. So you will be seeing HPCL logo on ICICI credit card. So what benefit the customer gets is, so whenever you are fueling your vehicle in HPCL outlets, you will not be charged any surcharge. So if you fuel your vehicle in HPCL outlets. So we have discussed about consumer tools for consumer sales promotion. So coming to tools for trade sales promotion. So so these are some of trade sales promotions: trade allowances, push money, training, free merchandise, store demonstration. Next, conventions and trade shows. So what are trade allowance? It's a kind of price reduction offered by manufacturers to its set of channel intermediaries, right from C&F agent, distributors, or wholesalers or retailers. So here, trade allowances, what retailer will be getting in terms of over and above the normal margin which he gets. So these trade allowances are given to various channel intermediaries by the manufacturers. So they are passed on to different intermediaries, different channel intermediaries. So be it distributor, wholesaler, or retailer. So push money is, it's a kind of money offered to channel members to encourage them to push products. So many a times you can see whenever companies are trying to launch multiple products, so few products may move very fast, few products may not move. So here it's a kind of money given to these intermediaries to encourage to push these products. So this push money will act as an encouragement to different members within channel intermediaries, encouraging them to sell the products. So in simple terms, it's a kind of incentive given to various channel intermediaries to push the products into the market. So where they'll be pushing the products? So they need to push products into retail with to retailers. So again, retailers will sell them to customers. So here incentive is given to the channel intermediaries to sell products to its set of retailers. So these are some of the benefits of trade promotions. So here it will help manufacturers to gain new distributors, obtain wholesaler and retailer support for consumer sales promotions. So when you are offering promotions for the consumers, again, it's the responsibility of the concerned company to make these products available at various retail outlets. So to make it happen, you have to give some kind of incentive to the retailer to carry out these sales promotions. So again, other benefits of trade promotions is to build or reduce dealer inventories. What are dealer inventories? So again, if you offer some kind of incentive to retailers, you will be able to clear stocks from dealer points. So here, trade promotions will also improve trade relations between relationship that exists between channel intermediaries and the manufacturers. So our next topic is personal selling. What is personal selling?
He's directly selling from the.
So which kind of products you see more personal selling happening? Is it B2C or B2B? So when you think of communication, so here in case of B2C kind of products, emphasis will always be on advertising. So when it is coming to B2B, emphasis is always on personal selling. So here value of exchange happening in B2B product is high. Here it is very less. to sell shampoo, you need not do personal selling. But when you want to sell, say, 100 laptops to a particular company, say Indian Navy, so here you may have to do personal selling. So many a times, if Indian Navy is buying 100 laptops, so they will not just take DD or transfer money and ask you to send 100 laptops. So there might be a lot of discussions happening in terms of negotiations for price. Will they be able to deliver on time? Is there any quantity discount which they'll be able to get? And again, Indian Navy is something relating to defense. So again, they are serving the nation. So naturally, they expect a certain price of as they are serving the society. So here they need to consider all these parameters. So that's why here, in case of B2B kind of sales, mostly emphasis will always be on personal selling. So if you see the kind of communication which happens here, no one needs to talk to customers. So when you are selling FMCG products, you see most of the communication is monologue. So no one talks to you to buy shampoo or biscuits, chocolates, but there will be many people talking to you to buy a particular elevator or to buy a particular DG set. So here emphasis is always on dialogue. So you will be seeing a lot of people interacting with the buying organizations. So selling organization, sales personnel will be interacting with a lot of buying organizations to buy a particular product. Say, for example, if Indian Navy is having the option of buying, choosing a particular branded laptop, say Dell may approach, again Wipro may approach, or HP may approach. So again, they'll be finalizing from whom to buy based on other parameters like price, timely supplies, quality of the product, all this. So personal selling is mostly preferred in the products where high value of exchange happens. So these are some of the advantages of personal selling. Many a times you can see personal selling means, so you will be seeing a person visiting the customer's location, trying to explain details about the product. So you will be seeing a lot of detailed explanation or demonstration of the product. So again, demonstration, it's not possible for every product. So if it's a big construction equipment or big machinery, you will be seeing a lot of demonstration happening. 360 degrees of the product explanation is done by the sales executive who is visiting the customer's location. Here, so again, lot of message information is passed on. So again, these messages will be varying according to motivations of each customer. So many a times it is not so easy to close bigger kind of deals. Say, for example, if Visakhapatnam Steel Plant is trying to procure 500 cars to be given as a Diwali gift to its employees. So 500 cars, even if you take a minimum car also, so maybe six and a half lakh. Even if you take it as 6 lakhs, 500 into 6, it's almost 30 crore deal. So 30 crore deal cannot be closed just like that. You may have to make multiple visits. Again, a sales executive of Arun Motors is not enough to close the deal. So sometimes you have to see Maruti Suzuki direct sales personnel interacting with them. So you'll be seeing some kind of zonal level manager visiting steel plant, trying to have a lot of discussions with top management of steel plant. They try to influence key decision makers within steel plant. So here personal selling is directed only to qualified prospects. So again, who is called as prospect is who is likely to buy your product. So when you approach 10 customers, out of these 10 customers, 3 or 4 are likely to get converted into prospects. So prospects are there. There are high chances of these prospects buying your product if you satisfy the required conditions. So here, personal selling is considered as most effective promotion form in obtaining sale and satisfying customers. So when the value of exchange is very high, so sometimes you can see uh, you may have to uh, negotiate a lot on price, And second important parameter is timely supplies. So if there is a vendor A who has agreed for say a certain price, say 6.5 lakhs, vendor B has agreed it for 6.55 lakhs, and you have problem in terms of timely supplies, so they will not be able to supply these cars before Diwali. Vendor B is able to supply at least 1 week before Diwali. So sometimes you will spending 5,000 extra, it will not be a major concern for steel plant. So that's why they'll be going with vendor B. So here comparison of personal selling with that of advertising or sales promotion. So if you see, personal selling is important because whenever you are selling a product which has high value, personal selling plays a key role. So if the product is not of standardized product, if it is a custom made product, so then personal selling impacts a lot. So here, when there are only few customers, you can do personal selling. Do you think Unilever can do personal selling? PNG, Unilever, or ITC?
Like they can do personal selling for like this one, hotels, hospitality
Yes.
industry.
So it's not possible for FMCG products. So that's why you can see whenever there is a product which is of high value, you can do personal selling. So if it is custom made, personal selling works out. If there are few customers, so whenever the product is technically complex in nature, you may have to give a lot of scientific explanation about the product. So many times you can see so why medical representatives do only personal selling, because a lot of briefing need to be given to doctors about prescription or technical explanation, or so they'll be asking a lot of doubts about the product. So that's why you can see even elevator selling executives, construction equipment selling executives. So if product is involving technical features to be explained, then personal selling is very important. So when customers are concentrated, so personal selling will work out. For example, you can see industrial spare part sellers. So you will not see them in prime locations within Visakhapatnam. Where you see industrial product distributors? Near to industrial areas, somewhere above Jagdamba, near port. So you'll be seeing a lot of outlets selling high amount of lubricants to industries. So you will not see these business establishments in normal locations like Dwarka Nagar and all. So these products are consumed in the nearby locations, say lubricants, bearings, so some kind of equipments which are used by construction equipments. So here personal selling will work out where your customers are concentrated, located side by side. So personal selling example where you can use is insurance policies, for selling insurance policies, or airplane engines. So all high value products. So be it construction equipment, or imagine all of you know Skyline, no? Skyline in Andada. Have you seen it? Skyline Apartments. So imagine a builder who is constructing thousands of flats in a year. So he may be requiring a lot of building construction related material, be it cement, steel, and other hardware related products, be it plastic, some kind of pipes. So here to deal such high volume buyers, so again personal selling plays an important role. So imagine how many elevators he buys if he is constructing 1,000 flats in a year, 20 in each unit. So he ends up creating at least 50 units in a year, where he is likely to buy 50 elevators. So advertising and sales promotion are more important if the product is a low value. So like FMCG products or even FMCD products, or if it is a standardized products, when you have many customers for your product is easy to understand. So once you procure the product, you can use it immediately by understanding its features and all. So customers are geographically dispersed. So when your product buyers are geographically dispersed, so there are when you are catering to mass markets, so then advertising and sales promotion works out well. Example, soap, magazine subscriptions, all apparel selling or FMCD kind of products. Next is relationship selling. Relationship selling is nothing but uh, how you maintain interactions with your buying organizations, how you satisfy your buying organizations. So here it's a kind of consultative selling. So how effectively you maintain relationship with your set of customers. So you can understand it's a kind of sales practice where you build, maintain, and enhance interactions with your customers. So in order to develop long-term satisfaction through mutually beneficial partnerships. Imagine you have sold 60 Asia trucks to a particular contractor, or Volvo trucks to a particular contractor. So if you just leave him once your deal is closed, you are not at all interacting with him, and you are not at all interacting to the queries addressed by this contractor. You will not be getting resale. Later, if he is planning to buy 50 more Volvo trucks, you will not get that order. So that's why you, since the value of exchange, so imagine if 60 Volvo trucks is being procured by one particular contractor. So he might have invested at least 60 Volvo trucks, means almost 12, 13 crores he might have invested. So when you have got a value of 12, 13 crores, you should satisfy this customer. You should be retaining this customer. How you retain this customer is you have to continuously build, maintain, and enhance interactions with these customers. So sometimes there is nothing wrong inquiring about his family background. Imagine this particular contractor's son has appeared for 10th class public exam. So once the result is out, if you try to contact this contractor, and if you are trying to inquire like how many marks he got, something like that. So that may lead to better satisfaction, and he'll be with your company. Many a times you can see even sales executives today. So if he is working for CEAT Tires, say he is based in Visakhapatnam, if you maintain good relationship with all your customers, so tomorrow if you shift to MRF, or if you shift to JK Tires, so if you have maintained good relationship with your customers, so your customers will also shift to buying JK Tires. So they, many a times you can see all multinational companies will be thinking that my brand is powerful than the people who are serving the customers, be it distributors or sales executives. So sometimes who executives or distributors who work well, so they are the brand for these customers. So if today this particular dealer is selling Excite batteries today, and tomorrow if he shifts to Amaron batteries, you can see if you maintain good relationship with your customers, so they are also likely to buy Excite batteries tomorrow. So they are also willing to leave Amaron and shift to Excite batteries. So this will not happen just like that. So if you have to understand the difference between what is traditional selling and relationship selling, so on the left hand side you can understand, so you just sell product, goods or service. So you just focus on closing the sale. So you don't plan anything, limited sales planning happens. Spend most of the contact time telling customers about the product only. conduct product specific needs assessment. So here, traditional selling used to happen like this. So they are focused only on selling or proposals, preparing proposals and presentations based on pricing and product features. Sales follow-up is short term. So what is sales follow-up?
Doing follow-up for the sales.
Once you sell the product, again you should see that whether he has received the product, is it working? If it is not working, are you able to arrange the required technical personnel to rectify this problem? So you'll follow up on a continuous basis. So here in traditional selling, it used to be very short term in terms of sales follow up, and they are always focused on product delivery. So on the right hand side, you can understand what is relationship or consultative selling. So here it starts with the, so you sell advice, assistance, and counsel them. So many a times you can see, if you feel that if you are selling a particular model of vehicle and the price variation is very less, and if you see that whoever has procured a particular model of truck, so they are anticipating high level of maintenance, you may suggest him the newer version wherein he can reduce maintenance cost. So here relationship selling includes you have to advise him, assist, and counsel him. So here focus will be on improving customer's bottom line. What is customer's bottom line? He should be able to get satisfaction out of the product which he purchases. So like you should get benefited out of using your product. So here you should consider sales planning as top priority. So many a times you can see when there is high value of exchange happening. So you are not just selling product, you are trying to give a solution to customer's problem. Say if there is a customer who is using older trucks, say he is having 150 trucks, and a lot of maintenance cost is incurred for handling these 150 trucks. So here you are not just selling trucks, you should be giving him a solution. If you use these trucks, what will be the savings? So many a times for truck owner, so particularly construction sites, so you'll be seeing a lot of trippers moving, and again here, though the trip is very short, so you will be incurring a lot of maintenance cost. So here you should be giving him solution. So here you should spend most contact time attempting to build a problem solution. So here you can see you are trying to build problem solving environment with the customer. So if he is trying to tell you that this 150 trucks usage, what all problems he is facing. So here, based on that, you will be trying to solve his problem by giving him the best solution. What trucks he has to buy, and you have to explain him end to end what is the maintenance cost, wear and tear. So you have to explain in full detail. So here, if you are trying to sell products, here you have to conduct discovery in the full scope of the customer's operations. So here you have to understand the operational aspects of the contractor also. If it is a manufacturing organization, so if you are trying to sell products, you have to understand the total processes, what products you can sell, in what way you can suggest him to save costs on manufacturing and all. So here team approach to the account. Here account is nothing but customer's account. So here many a times when you are selling, when you have to do relationship selling, so you need to do team approach to your customer's account. So here proposal and presentation is based on profit impact and strategic benefit to the customer. So here when you are trying to solve solutions, if you are able to save production cost, you are trying to increase profit for your customer. Sales follow-up, here it is long-term, focused on long-term relationship enhancement. So why you have to focus on long-term relationship? If the value of product purchased by the customer is very high, say 150 trucks procured, where the value is, imagine if it is say 15 lakhs a truck, 15 into 15, it's almost 22.5 crores. So nothing wrong in maintaining good relationship with these kind of customers, where if you get a repeated sale, so sometimes 150 trucks, I think if he is a sales executive, it covers almost 2-3 years target. Even if you are getting repeated sale from the same customer over a period of time, that will cover 1 or 2 years of your target. So coming to sales, selling process, all of you know what is sales. Many a times in today's world, whenever you have to do sale, so again, when it is coming to FMCG kind of sales, low value exchange goods, so it happens automatically. So imagine you have started a new software development for say pharma shops. So you are developing a software. So again, not all pharma shops are using software. So to record their stocks and what is getting sold should get reduced in the inventory. So it's a pharma retail software. So how you can sell this product? Again, if you have to follow certain steps. So these steps can include generate leads. How to generate leads? How you can generate leads online?
Advertising.
Advertisement, again, you'll be seeing a lot of information about pharma shops online. You can get their contact information. You can call them and explain about your product. If some may, after you calling, some may become your prospects. They may show interest in your product. Once they show interest, you may try to send them mail. So once you shortlist prospects, sometimes the concerned sales executives may make a physical visit and explain it to the pharma retailer. So one is generating leads. So lead generation you have to do. Then quality leads. What is quality leads?
About the quality of the product, giving the
Not
samples.
quality leads. Quality leads here is, so you may call 10 people. So again, you have to identify who is likely to buy, how big is their business. So if there is a small shop where he doesn't have any infrastructure also in the outlet, you cannot anticipate him to buy your software. So when he is not having basic infrastructure in the pharma retail shop. Next is probe customer needs. So you have to act according to his requirements, develop solutions, handling objections. So based on that, you will be closing the sale and follow up. So how to generate leads? So these are some of the methods for generating leads. So you advertise about the product, say your retail software, you will be getting calls, you will be doing publicity. Based on the data available, you will be doing some kind of telemarketing. You send direct mail to the pharma retail, cold calling, making calls over phone and trying to collect information whether they are interested or not. If they are interested, uh, uh, when they are likely to buy your product, do they require personal visit to their business location? So other options available is getting information through internet or website, referrals. So if you are able to sell product to certain pharma retailers, you will be taking referrals from the existing customers of yours. Networking. So again, networking with pharma retailers. Again, nowadays you can see uh, uh, pharma retailers also will be having some kind of associations. So you need to approach those associations. Say, for example, you are trying to sell some kind of products to builders. So all of you know there are certain organizations you associations relating to builders like CREDAI or VABA, Vishaka Apartment Builders Association. So there are many associations. You have to network with them, and you have to participate in trade shows and conventions. So all of you know, a lot of trade shows happen. So you may be seeing trade show happening relating to building materials, or you may be seeing conventions happening for builders. So you have to be part of these based on whatever product you are selling. So you have to collect information relating to company records. So cold calling is nothing but where you generate leads by contacting potential buyers. Here, when you do cold calling or approach directly, so based on financial status, you will be able to gauge whether he is likely to buy your product or not. So qualifying leads. So you have to, when you are trying to identify what is qualifying lead, you have to see whether it is a recognized need for that particular pharma retailer or not. So once you recognize it is a need, so you have to identify whether he has that capacity to buy your software or not. So how he is responding to your approach, and whether he is accessible to you to sell that particular product or not. So many a times, even when you make a call to generate lead, so in the first 2-3 minutes, you will be able to understand whether he is a qualified prospect or not. So a need assessment, it's a kind of determining customer specific needs and wants, and range of options a customer has for satisfying them. So sometimes, though you are developing a software for pharma retailers, so sometimes a particular customer might ask some kind of customization to the software. So you should be able to meet that need of the customer. Next is consultative salesperson, who is called as consultative salesperson. A salesperson should know everything about product or service, customers, competition, industry. So he is many times whenever customers are calling a particular sales executive, so if they are asking some information about the product, he may be saying that he will get back to him after some time. So here, when you can become consultative salesperson is whenever you are aware of end-to-end information about the product or service, who are your customers. Sometimes when you are buying, if you are a pharma retailer, if you are buying that software, so they may be asking a doubt that who are your existing customers, who all have procured this software at present. So you should be able to have some knowledge on competition and about that industry also. So this is something about sales proposal. So all of you know what is sales proposal. It's a kind of written document or professional presentations. So whatever product or service which you want to sell, so you have to prepare a sales proposal which will meet or exceed prospects' needs. So many times you can see whenever you are preparing this sales proposal, so that should lead to customer satisfaction. It should meet or exceed prospect needs. All of you know what is sales presentation. So it's a kind of formal meeting where salesperson presents a sales proposal to a prospective buyer. So when it is involving lot of technical, say for example, you are selling some kind of biotech product. So you are an MBA graduate and you don't know technical or scientific, you don't have any scientific knowledge relating to the product. You can sell the product, but when it is coming to explanation, you may take the required technically competent person who has studied MSc microbiology or biotechnology. So who will be able to explain the technical part of the product. You will be telling basic things like price of the product, at what price you can give, when it can be supplied, all this. So that's why whenever a sales executive who is not technically competent, you should be traveling with the required sales engineer or technically knowledge person. So handling objections, many a times you can say this is a major concern in most of the organizations. So you have to view objections as requests for information. So many a times you can see once you buy the product, before buying the product, the way sales executives interact to that of once the product is procured, you have a lot of difference. So here, this happens even in case of service sector also. When you enter into the hotel, the way you are received, when you are about to vacate the hotel, so you will be seeing some kind of varied responses. So the response was accurate when you have checked in. The responses were not so accurate when you are checking out. So you have to anticipate specific objections. So when you can anticipate specific objections is when you have handled multiple customers, so you will be able to anticipate what kind of objections you are likely to get from customers, investigate the objection with the customer. So you have to investigate with the customer what went wrong. Sometimes you will be getting a lot of queries relating to product or product deliveries, product installation, product functioning and all. So be aware of competitors' products. So many a times if you are working for a particular company, say if you are working for Mahindra and Trucks division, so you should be able to have competitor information about right from Volvo Truck or Acer and other brands. So similarly, you have to stay calm in front of customer when you don't know something. So if you keep on arguing with the client customer, so sometimes you will lose that particular customer. Use the objection to close the sale. So here handling objections is a major concern for most of the organizations. Okay, I'll be uploading all the PPTs in GLearn. So you have to read, you have to write descriptive examination. So don't write how you have written in your mid exams. You will not get marks. Now it is online thing. How you are writing descriptive exams. So last time when you wrote a domain test, no?
Yeah.
So all of you have uploaded, you don't do the same thing in your main exam. So there are high chances for you to lose marks. So all of you, you have to write on A4 paper
Yeah.
or
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A4 or sometimes you will be getting some papers which has rules, no?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Lines. So some of you are not able to write straightly. So if you have that problem, you have to procure that ruled pages. Or sometimes you have some tracing paper kind of thing, no? You will
Okay.
be having rules. If you put paper on that, you will be able to see the rules slightly.
Okay. Okay.
So you can write on that, and while scanning also, don't just put this, you are taking from your camera, no?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So just like how you take picture of yours. So that may not work out here. You have to do some kind of scanning, Google scanner, something. So wherein you will be able to scan the paper properly. So if you don't scan it properly and if you don't write it properly, so again, we'll be seeing images, how it looks. Based on that, you are likely to lose marks. So that's why you have to write properly and scan it properly also. So sometimes though we might be having that zooming option. So we'll be able to zoom your paper and imagine if you don't write properly, how awkward it looks like when we zoom it. So that's why presentation is also very important to get some extra marks. So though you write everything very well, but if it doesn't, if we are not able to understand your writing and all, you will not be able to get marks. So instead of writing more content, write less quality content and do proper scanning of the document and upload. So you use some kind of scanner. So previously we were having that CAM scanner, no?
Yeah, yes, sir. Now we have Microsoft Lens, sir, but
So you have multiple scanners now, Microsoft or Google scanner. So try to check which is the best scanner from your friends and scan the paper properly. And again, don't write end to end. So you have to leave edge, within the
yes,
paper.
yes,
So if you leave edge, you will be able to take proper scanning of the page. So if you write end to end and all, you will be having some cuttings happening while scanning. So take care of all these things and write properly. Thank you.